Delphine, yung tag mo sa pagkabisita nandyan sa El Burro mo. Kindly, thank you for your courtesy. Sit down. Troop Commander, could you please give the tikas pahinga to the troops?
Tikas! Hiya! Tikas! Hiya!
Vice President Maria Leonardo Bredo, ma'am, magandang hapon po. Former President Fidel V. Ramos, alam mo, every time I get out from the vehicle, I'm always met by the Secretary of National Defense and the Chief of Staff. And he would stop me right there at the door of the car, and he'd bottom up my barong because I usually do not wear the last bottom. It suffocates me. And they would say, ibaba mo na lang yung fold mo sa barong. And it's not my fault. I got it from a former president, Fidel V. Ramos. He was the one who started the fashion, actually. Former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Executive Secretary Salvador Medaldia, Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, and the other members of the Cabinet, General Eduardo Año, I don't know if it's mentioned here, but General Año goes to be from a general to a secretary of the cabinet. He would head the Department of Interior and Local Government. But while he is prohibited from assuming the task for 1 year, and that is the law, from the military service to the civilian sector, you have to wait for 1 year. Either he takes the title of a special assistant to the president or the undersecretary, whichever is tenable legally. And he will now supervise the Philippine National Police together with General Lito Coy. General Año, you're always welcome to report. Maybe tomorrow, I will wait for you. The new Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Ray Guerrero, and the Major Service Commanders, Police Director General Ronald de la Rosa, the members of the House of Representatives, the officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian employees of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, mga kasama ko sa gobyerno, mga mahal kong kababayan. I consider it an honor to be with you today as we congratulate General Eduardo Año for his successful tour of duty as Chief of Staff of the AFP. General Año's distinguished leadership resulted to a stronger AFP that did not just secure our nation, but also secured our people's trust and confidence in the military establishment and the soldiers that it represents. General Año took command of the AFP in December last year. He was immediately beset with natural disaster that tested his leadership skills, proving his capability outside combat. General Año effectively supervised the AFP's humanitarian assistance and disaster response operation during the Surigao earthquake and the Typhoons Nina and Auring. As part of the AFP's duty of preserving and defending our territorial integrity, General Año also authorized the regular conduct of long-range maritime, air, and naval patrols in the West Philippine Sea and the Benham Rise, as known popularly now, otherwise this ACA. It's now the Philippine Rise. The Philippine Rise belongs to the Republic of the Philippines, and it is our territory, and let it be announced today to the whole world that we are claiming it for our people and country. This was complemented by its active pursuit of a trilateral cooperative arrangement with Malaysia and Indonesia to address security concerns in our adjacent waters. Under his able leadership, AFP also faced more than 800 armed confrontations, resulting to the seizure of almost 2,000 weapons and the neutralization of more than 2,000 enemies of the state. May I just insert something? I will now request the Chief of Staff, General Guerrero, to supervise the destruction of all arms, whether high-powered or handguns. All of it will be destroyed in some place to show that we are also able to meet the challenges of terrorism and violence. Of course, the crowning jewel of his impressive career is none other than the Battle of the Liberation of Marami, which resulted to the neutralization of almost 1,000 ISIS-inspired insurgents, which include high-value targets being hunted around the world, or being hunted. As General Año leaves behind his legacy and marches towards his final review of troops, I am confident that the AFP will sustain its gains because of the organizational and capability upgrades initiated during his tenure. These upgrades include the acquisition of new air and sea assets, state-of-the-art communications, and the intelligence gathering equipment and the latest military hardware that were initially used in dealing with the now decimated insurgents groups in Marawi. As we begin rebuilding from the ruins of war, we welcome Lieutenant General Leonardo Guerrero as the new Chief of Staff, with the hope that the AFP will remain at the forefront of our battle against all threats against our nation, external and internal. Let me assure you, the brave men and women of the AFP and other uniformed services of our government, that our government will do its best to enhance their capabilities and promoting the welfare of our soldiers and looking forward after the needs of their families. While this may not be enough to repay for their sacrifice, I am nonetheless hopeful that it would make them feel that our nation recognizes their bravery, heroism, and love of country. The battle may be over, but we must remain vigilant as we face the persistent challenges of terrorism, insurgency, especially in Mindanao. I therefore enjoin our troops to support the leadership of General Guerrero by remaining committed to your mission of ensuring safety and security for our nation. Armed with our people's unwavering trust and confidence, and fueled by the highest degree of professionalism and competence, our soldiers and will always be the front liners in the building a strong Philippine country that is prosperous and hopeful. This is the bastion of lasting peace and prosperity. Congratulations, General Año and General Guerrero, at mabuhay kayong lahat. Sandali lang. I am not begging the issue. I would just like to inform the small man down there na beginning January, look at your paychecks. It would have doubled your salary. Hindi ko lang po talagang increase into a double number na in parity with your old base pay, because that would be somewhat like a creation of a new position. Eh, bawal po yan, so you have to slide a few percentage. But just the same, you are the first in government to receive almost double your salaries now. And that is in recognition, especially to the comrades and to the Filipino soldiers and policemen who died in the line of duty. I will see to it that the wounded soldiers will be attended to. And for those who are into forced retirement, that we will have a program with them to make their lives happier in the next phase of their service to their country. Again, I say a little prayer every night. Yung mga sundalo kong namatay at sundalo kong pulis. And every night, I always hold the briefer. Ano, nakita ko yung resulta ng mga violent confrontations. Not really, I will not try to impose a lie on you. I do not cry, but I'm always on the verge of tears. Iniisip ko kanong kahirap niya. And that is why I went back to and fro from our nation's capital, Manila. Pumunta ako doon sa Marawi almost seven times. Just to be with you and to show my solidarity na mahal ko ang aking armed forces, pati ang aking police. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Sampana.